evening. Hi, good evening. Let me know if you can hear me. Good evening and welcome to Life Preparations with Dorcas. Hi. Good to have you here. My name is Dorcas and you are welcome to Life Preparations with Dorcas. So let me hear me, right? We are about to start. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, from whichever side of the world you can see me. How are you doing? Let me know if you can hear me in the comment section. How are you doing? How has your week been? How is your family? How are your friends? What's up? What's happening in your life? Let me know in the comment section how you are doing. How are you doing? Hope you've enjoyed your weekend so far. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend so far. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on which side of the world you are. All right. So, apologies first of all. Last week I was not here, because we had something grand that happened. So we were preparing for the children's prayer thing, and yay, it was a success. So thank you to everyone who joined the children's prayer thing. If you were not at the children's prayer thing, please do well to check out on this page the replay. And I must apologize, it wasn't so clear, but we are learning, and by God's grace the next one will do better, and it will keep getting better and better by the day. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Saturday last week. We were glad you came, and thank you for bringing your children. Thank you for trusting us. The feedback we are receiving is amazing. Yes, we are receiving is amazing. So let me know in the comment section, were you at the children's prayer thing or not, physically, or were you online on Facebook, or were you on YouTube? Let's know. Were you on Facebook? Were you on Facebook? Were you on YouTube? Anyone? Okay. All right, so if no one is here, then let's start. Today we're going to be talking about the power of silence. The power of silence. And I'm sure you're wondering, what does she want to say about silence? Yes. In this year 2025, there are a lot of things and a lot of entertainment, so many things on the social media that could actually become noise. There could be a lot of noise, and because of so much noise, we get to lose out on some important things. And that's the reason why today we're going to be talking about the power of silence. You know that whole idea of talking every time. You're always talking. Sometimes you miss out on some of the most important things in your life. Sometimes you miss out on some connections with the people that you value most in your life. This year, 2025, we are going to be talking about silence. And you know what? By the end of the year, you're going to tell me about how you kept quiet or you were silent on some issues and how it turned out. Because it's very easy to want to talk on a lot of things. For everything, you want to always give a comment. Guess what? You must not give a comment on everything, no. Truth be told. You must not actually give a comment on every single thing. So let me tell you guys what changed my perspective about keeping quiet. I remember that in our secondary school, in the library, there was something that was written on the wall, and it said, learn to keep quiet. Even a fish, when it's quiet, does not get into trouble. So I'm like, okay, there must be something. There must be something. Even a fish, when it's quiet, does not get into trouble. So I now figure that I must learn to keep quiet. I must learn to keep quiet. The reason why you must learn to keep quiet is because you must not say everything. This year, it's not everything that comes to your mind that your mouth will speak. Sometimes you will keep quiet. The power of silence. And a lot of people feel that they are weak when they don't speak, that they must give it back to the person in the measure they gave it to them. I want to give it back to him. I want to give it back to her. No, it's not every single time that you must speak. Sometimes you zip it, okay? Sometimes you do what? You zip it. And let me tell you guys, it has some advantages. But I will start here this evening with a quote. Some things that we should take note of, because again, there's a narrative that has made it look like keeping quiet is a bad thing. Have you heard people say awkward silence? Sometimes silence is not awkward. Sometimes silence was just what you needed for that time or for that situation. Okay? So, silence is termed awkward because of perception. So sometimes it's just people's perception, not because silence is actually awkward every single time. No, sometimes it is the perception, what we think. We just think it that silence is awkward. No, not every single time. A lot of the times, silence is power. Silence is what? Power. Take it from me. Silence is power. And let me tell you, silence is a game changer in communication. Silence is a game changer in communication. And I'm not talking about when people say, oh, I gave it to her, or I gave it to him, the silent treatment. No. Nah, far from it. That's not what we're talking about this evening, okay? No, very, very far from it. That's not what we're talking about this evening. Another thing is silence can be misunderstood. You know, sometimes when you keep quiet, people just think whatever they want to think. And it's understandable. And that's the reason why sometimes people do not want to keep quiet, because they feel like, I must explain. Sometimes you don't bother to explain. You don't really have to explain every single thing. Okay? You really do not have to. You really don't have to. Okay. Can I tell you this evening that silence can be used strategically? Yes. You can actually use silence in a very, very strategic way. In a way that it will be very, very beneficial to you. Yes, you can. It is very, very doable. Super doable. Okay? Now, how can you use silence strategically? You can use silence in communication. So let's say you're delivering a speech or saying something important. That point where you make a very significant point, you can put in the power of silence there. so that it sinks in. You can do that. You can literally use the power of silence so that you are able to let that word sink in. Okay? So you can use the power of silence. Good. Another thing is that you can use silence in communication to create a rapport. Because I'm having a conversation with you, and that's why sometimes when I do speak, I ask for feedback. The reason why I'm asking for feedback is that sometimes you keep talking and there's no, you don't really know if people are understanding you or if they could actually literally hear you. And that's the reason why I say that you can use silence. So sometimes you pause. And that's why sometimes I communicate, I teach, and I keep quiet so that you can have a grasp of what I am saying. Okay, so if you're still with me, say hi. You can do me a favor, call in your friends, call in your loved ones. Let's all come and learn about the power of silence, because this year we are going to use the power of silence a lot. Okay? So 2 seconds for that. 2 seconds. Please call in your friends and your loved ones to join us. Okay? Now, in communication, you can actually use silence for breath control. So, for example, you are giving a speech or you're talking to people, you can use silence for breath control so that you don't get choked. Have you seen people talk and they are choked? Yeah. So please, as much as you can, try to use it strategically. And that's why I said we are going to use silence strategically. We are not going to use it as unwise people. We are going to use silence as wise people. Okay? Now, who are the people who can use the power of silence? People who are into public speaking can use the power of silence. People who are shy can use the power of silence. Yes. Actors, actresses can use the power of silence. Now, people who sing, singers, musicians, can use the power of silence. So that by the time you engage your crowd, they know they're in for a treat. Okay? Now, the next is that people who are socially anxious can use the power of silence as well. How fantastic is that? How fantastic is that? Guess what? Everybody in the world can use the power of silence. Every single person in the world can use the power of silence. Now, did you know that you could replace that perception you had about silence with a good one? It's very doable. If people can say awkward silence, who told you that you cannot change it to awesome silence? Yes, you can. You can change it to awesome silence. You can change it to great silence. You can literally even change it to smooth silence. But when you leave yourself with that narration that silence is awkward, it can make you not to want to keep silent. And that is the reason why this year we are going to understand the power of silence, and we are going to use it very, very, very well, because we're going to choose our battles this year. We are not going to throw stones at every dog that barks at us. We are going to be very, very wise, and we will not reply to every single comment, to every word that is said to us. We will take our time to process it before we give answers. Okay? We will take our time, because I want us to work on our perception that silence is awkward. Not every time. Sometimes, yes, but it's not every single time that silence is awkward. Take it from me, from somebody who has learned about keeping quiet. I tell you the truth, you really, really do not have to talk every time. Like, I go back to the thing I read in my school back then in secondary school, which is over 20 years ago, that a fish, when it keeps its mouth quiet, does not get into trouble. Fish, when it's actually the mouth of the fish that is used to hook the fish. Because I remember as a child, we used to go to the river close to the house, and we're learning how to fish. Then we'll get a long stick with a very long rope, and then we get earthworm. I remember earthworm. I don't remember what were the other things we used to use, but we'll go and then put it, and then we are waiting for the fish to try to grab it, and the fish will always use his mouth to grab it. And so because it tries to use its mouth, once it's open, the mouth is open, it takes in the hook, and then you roll out your fishing line. And then guess what? Yay, you've caught the fish. And that's the reason why we must not reply to everything, because sometimes they are what? Traps. And if we can learn to keep quiet, we are not going to get into those traps. So we're going to use silence when we are speaking. We use silence when we are listening. We use silence for processing. We use silence to process our thoughts, so that whatever answer we're giving will be quality answer. Okay? Now, I want to give us an example. In growth, have you noticed that growth is silent? Growth is really, really silent. A lot of the good things that happen are silent. Let me give you guys an example. When you plant corn, or you plant beans, you plant rice, it grows. Does it make noise? Corn is growing? No. But you come out after some days and you see it growing, coming out of the soil. All it needed was rain, and it begins to grow. So this should tell you that you must not always make noise. Next example, your children. When your children are growing, their bones just stretch. Their minds grow emotionally. Everything about them just grows. There is no noise. I'm growing tall. I'm growing tall. My voice is becoming husky. No. Your children just grow in the silence. You just wake up one day and see that your son is literally taller than you. He's like 6 feet or whatever, 6'7". He's like 6'6". What? And you're wondering, where did time go to? The time flew so fast. It went by really fast. But there was growth. So I want us to know that growth can be that powerful. Growth can be that powerful that you just wake up one day and see that you are 90 years old. For every time you celebrated your birthday, it was a blessing, yeah? Sorry about my lights. So every time you celebrated your birthday, it was like, yay. So wrinkles did not just appear one day on your face when you turned 90 years old. It started little by little, step by step, one day at a time. And that's how growth is. It doesn't make noise. So I want you to use growth as an example of silence, that, you know what? Silence is so powerful. Silence is so powerful that growth just happens in silence. Growth just happens in what? In silence. Are you with me? So for a woman who is carrying a child, her baby is just growing quietly in the womb, but growth is happening in the silence. So a lot of good things happen in the silence. So why do you think you must make noise about every single thing? Why? You must not. You must not make noise about every single thing. If you're with me, I need you to say, I am with you in the comment section. 1 minute for that. 1 minute, say, I am with you in the comment section, please. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. At least I'm not alone. All right. So, I'll continue. Sorry, I just need to check something. 1 minute. All right. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is some of the example that the Bible gives about what? About silence. Some of the examples the Bible gives about silence. There's a place in the Bible that it says, "For the Lord is in his holy temple, let the earth keep silent before him." But guess what? We want to make noise even in the presence of God. People go to church, they make noise. People are in the car, they make noise. People are at home, they make noise. In every single place, noise, noise, noise. But now the Bible is saying, "For the Lord is in his holy temple, let the earth keep silent before him." So, if silence was not powerful, do you go before a king, let's say a Nigerian monarch, and then you begin to make noise? No, most people would not. So I want us to really take this thing of silence very seriously this year 2025. And James 1:19 talks about we being slow to speak, quick to hear, and slow to getting angry. So when you are being slow to speak, it means that you're taking your time, you are processing whatever before it comes out. Remember, the Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth would speak. So it means that if you are saying the wrong things, let's check your heart. Maybe there's some processing that has not happened, or you were not even silent enough to really listen. You were just saying whatever you wanted to say, and that should not be. Another thing you should know about silence is that Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 tells us that there is a time for everything and every season under heaven. So it means that there's a time to speak and there's a time to be quiet. There's a time to speak, there's a time to be quiet. So it means that you cannot keep talking. No. There is a time to speak and there's a time to be quiet. So, let me tell us some things about silence. Now, silence sometimes would show respect, especially if you're of African descent. It is not every single time that you have to reply, especially an older person. Sometimes silence shows respect. But we're not just talking about respect here. Sometimes silence says to us or communicates to the person that you are really interested in what the person is saying. And so you're not just listening to reply, you're listening to understand. So let me use myself for example. Yes, I have children, and sometimes I feel like I'm not really listening to them enough. So sometimes when I listen and I feel like I'm only listening to reply or to give them an answer, I talk to myself, calm down. Calm down. Speak to them. I listen to them, not just for the feedback, but listen to understand them. Yes, the younger children are not speaking yet, they're just learning to speak, but just listening to some of the things they are babbling is forming a relationship. And that's why in relationships, sometimes just be quiet, listen to what the other person has to say to you. Is really going to help. So, some of the importance of silence, one, is that it enhances our relationship. Our relationships, the different relationships we have, whether with our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our colleagues. Let me tell you the truth, a lot of your colleagues want you to listen to them. But if you are just not listening, tomorrow they won't tell you stuff. Because they know that you are not listening. So they won't tell you stuff. But when you listen, the next few times they need someone to talk to, they will show up. They're going to look for you. Because you know why? They know that you do what? You listen. Okay? They know that you do what? That you listen to them. Alright? Now, the next thing is that silence helps our reputation. So you know that heat of an argument where you just want to give it back to the person, boss, and you do self-restraint, because again, silence helps us. That's one of the benefits of silence. It helps us with self-restraint. So it means that you are able to keep quiet even when you had 1,000,001 things to say. That's self-restraint, because you would have just said it, boss, give it to the person. Let the person know you speak English very well. But self-restraint, you held yourself and you did what? You zipped it, right? So this goes ahead to tell you that with time, you will see that your reputation will be noted. So let me give you guys an example. So last week, somebody sent me a nasty message, and I could have easily replied with a very nasty reply as well. It's my phone. I can do whatever I want. But I decided to be kind, and I decided to use the power of silence. Do you know that I decided not to reply? Because I knew that my reply was going to be nasty. It was not going to be kind. And this year I made up my mind to be kind. In my talk, in my speech, with my messages on my phone, I made up my mind to be what? To be kind. Guess what? I decided not to reply. And that reminded me of something that the Bible says, that a soft anger turns away wrath. So this one, I didn't use my words, I used my silence to be the soft answer. Because if I had replied, I don't know how, the reply would have turned out and how the person would have seen it, and it could have just gone south, But I decided to use the power of silence. I zipped it. And it saved the day. It saved the day. Another example is, I have people who are working with me, helping me care of my children. Because apparently, this motherhood thing, I can't do it all by myself. literally. So I have people helping me. And sometimes they do the weirdest things. Those things I've said, please don't do this. I've said, this is not part of the values in my home, so I cannot welcome it. Those are the things that they do. And you know what? The first thing is, the first instinct is to just give it to them, bad boss. But a lot of times I practice self-restraint. So what silence does is that it helps you with self-restraint. That's number one. It helps you with patience. Because truly, I can literally say that I have grown in my patience. In being patient with people, I have grown. Like, I don't need anyone to explain that to me. I know I have grown, right? Another thing is that it helps you with your reputation, which I've already mentioned before. It helps your mental health. It helps your you see, this mental health of a thing is a very serious matter. This mental health issue is a very serious thing, and if you can take it seriously, it will do well for all of us. That you don't have to, why are you stressing yourself having to pick your battles? Choose your battles. There are already in a lot of problems in the world. You really don't want to add replying every dog that barks at you. No, you really don't want to add that to the list of all the issues. So guys, do your best this year 2025 not to reply everybody. No, not all of them deserve it. Okay, not everybody deserves your reply this year. Don't reply everybody. Take your time to reply if you must. So at the end of the day, what will help you do, what that will help you to do, is that at the end of the day, you are picking your battles, you are matured about it, and it is a well calculated reply. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, I'll round off by saying that silence is very valuable, and silence has power. Silence has a lot of power. So for your general well-being, for your mental health, for your self-respect this year 2025, I want you to practice the power of silence. That's my call to action for you this evening. That you will go home or throughout 2025 sit down and say, you know what, I don't have to reply everybody who says something nasty to me. No. That this year 2025, I'll be kind with my words. And part of being kind with my words means I will not reply everybody. Okay? That is what we are going to do this year. All right? Let me tell you, I forgot to add that silence helps you focus. Silence helps you focus. You see, there's so much noise everywhere. And sometimes you need that silence to be able to hear God. If you're a Christian here, you need silence to be able to hear God. There is a lot of noise out there. You need silence. God might be speaking to you, my son, my daughter, XYZ. Oh, this year, don't go to this place. Or this year, don't go to that place. But because you're not even listening, you go to that place. And when you get into trouble, you start talking to God about it. But God had warned you, my child, do not go there. But you decided, I must go there. This year, 2025, be kind to yourself. Okay? Please. Listen. And listen to God. So, I want to tell us that in the whole of all this chaos everywhere, God may not be in it. What am I saying? There's a story in the book of, I think, 1 Kings 19 or so, where Elijah was thinking that God, yes, First Kings 19 verse 1 to I think 18 thereabout, where Elijah was thinking that God was going to bring the strong wind, God was going to be pour, I'm the Lord your God. God was in the silence. God was in the hush hush. So it's not every single time that you're going to have a trumpet being blown. Pam, 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 pam. No. Sometimes God is in the silence. And I need you to be able to know that God is in the silence moments with you. When you are quiet and you don't even understand what to do, I need you to know that God is in that also with you. God is in it with you. He may not be making noise and shouting and sending thunder and fire and sending a very strong wind, but I need you to know that God is with you in the silence. In the silence. Have you noticed that there are some people that people are just afraid of them? Because, please let me know I'm not alone here. And that's why some people say, oh, quiet people are wicked, or because they don't talk. No, sometimes they're just processing everything. They are not wicked people. Sometimes they're just processing things. So guys, learn to keep quiet. Learn to keep quiet. Process things in this year 2025. And when you do, I would want you to come back and tell me next week. Just let's start with 1 week, 1 day at a time. Give me feedback how you practice the power of silence in 2025. Maybe with your spouse, maybe with your brother, maybe with your sister, or your colleague in the office, or just a passenger in a car. Maybe you join the public transport or something. Just, throughout this week, I want you to go into the week with the power of silence. And I want us to come back next week. Yes, so that's my call to action for you. I want us to be here at 9 p.m. by the grace of God. Let us discuss how it went. Let's do it 1 week at a time. So we're setting our goals. If you check one of the videos that we put up last year, towards the end of the year now, I think maybe I'll put it so that you can set goals. So we're going to set small goals, measurable goals that are very specific. And what are we going to do this week? Someone should type it in the comment section. We are going to practice the power of silence, and we're going to come back next week and talk about it. How did we practice silence? As a teacher, as a mom, as a dad, in your career as an engineer on the field, wherever you find yourself this week, I need you to practice the power of silence, and I want you to come back here next week and tell me about it. Tell me how it went, because I'm really interested. I want to know about the power of silence, how you practiced it, and all of that. So let me even just you guys, I didn't even complete my story. So when that person sent that nasty message, I was literally going to reply, and I practiced self-restraint, and I didn't reply. Guys, I think some days later, somebody said something to me. The person said, thank God you didn't reply. The person was literally waiting for you to reply so that the person can have something to say that you said this. And I said, really? The person said yes, and I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, God, that I did not reply. And I kept my what? I kept my reputation. And something else happened last year. So for a very long time, a particular person was doing stuff and I wasn't saying anything. It's not because I could not reply, but I was practicing self-restraint, and I was trying to practice patience. So something happened, I think, first or second week of January, and I had to talk. And you know what? Somebody said something. The person said, this one that Doc has spoke, hey, you guys have really pushed her. she is actually upset because this is one person that I know does not get angry. Whatever you guys say, this person just comes all the way down. So I knew that people were watching me and that I had a reputation for not just replying anyhow. So I knew that I had to be serious and keep up the good work I have started. So let me tell you, people are watching. Not just people are watching, but God is watching. Because if that your reply will not be a blessing to the person, I think you should not reply. If that your reply will cause trouble, then I think you should not reply. Okay? So, my call to action for you this week is that you go and practice the power of silence. Now, I know we are in a generation of sorosoke. Yes, you talk and all that. Yes, there's a place for talking about things like that. Things that are wrong in the society and everything. Yes, there is a place for that. And there's a place for day-to-day activity and how you can harness power in the place of your silence. Okay? So, I need you to go and practice it, give me feedback, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me. But before we close, do you guys have any questions? If you do have questions, please drop them in the comment section. Just 1 or 2 questions. Let's answer them quickly, and then we're out of this place. And by the way, as you are typing questions, I hope that you have prepared for church. Yep, we go to our Father's house. Yes, we go to our Father's house tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. By the grace of God, we'll be going to church. So any questions? If you're with me, any questions? Any questions? If there are no questions, if you don't have any questions, please drop in the comment section. Say, I do not have questions. Let me know. Did you understand everything I said today? Did you understand everything I said? Please let me know in the comment section, what is your takeaway for today? What is your takeaway for today? Just type it in the comment section. What's your takeaway? What did you learn today? What did you learn today about the power of silence? Okay, I do not have questions. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so this week we will try our best to practice the power of silence, and I need you guys to be here by the grace of God at 9 p.m. Let's talk about it. Let us talk about how we were able to practice the power of silence and how it went over the week. Was it profitable? Was it not? Let's know by the grace of God next week, Saturday. Please, if I forget to ask, just drop the comment in the comment section for me. And if you have not liked this video, I need you to give this video a thumbs up. I need you to, you know, share with your friends and family. It's very important to us that as you are growing, your friends, your family, and everybody connected to you should also grow. Okay? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Please stop by again next week at 9 p.m. and do check out all the other beautiful videos we have on this channel. And if you have not subscribed, please do us that favor. Subscribe to this channel. We promise to deliver value. We promise to deliver value. Check all our videos. There is so much value. And please share our videos. Share them. Share. Let people see that you are learning and let them grow with you. You don't want to be at 1000% and the people around you are at 2%. You guys, you will not be compatible anymore because your engine is tuber level. You are understanding really fast and they're not understanding. That's not actually nice. Let's share. Let's share, share, share. Thank you for stopping by. So I can see IDK. I don't know what's the full name. Thank you, IDK. I can see David. I can see Gami. I can see Funky. I can see Deepak. Thank you, everyone. If I've not seen your name, please drop your name in the comment section. I'm just appreciating everybody for stopping by. Please drop your name. If I can't see you, just say hi to me so I can see your name. Thank you for stopping by. Please, let's practice the power of silence, and I will see you guys next week. Remember, there is great power in silence. There is great power in silence. We must not reply everything this year. Remember, a mouth that is shut will not get into trouble. Have a fantastic weekend and a lovely week ahead. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye. Thank you.